What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. Today we're doing the IBF Champions Report. So this is going to be on all the championship belts from 122 pounds all the way to heavyweight, as we are going to break down all the champions and the belts and what's going on with them. Again, I do my champions reports. I do those every 2 months, so at the end of February, end of April, end of June, end of August, end of October, and then my year-end one at the end of December is how I manage those. So this one we're gonna discuss the IBF world title. That's usually the red belt, and take a look at what's going on with everything there. Now, before we get going, if you guys could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support I can get. I'm just trying to build it up, and I appreciate any love. Now, if you guys don't like what I'm doing, you guys want to, leave a thumbs down, go ahead and do that too. I'm really open to any kind of negative response, positive response, whatever. Just go ahead and post it. I'm okay with that. So anyways, let's get rolling. So we start with the 122 pound division. Champion there is MJ Marajan Akhmadaliyev. What we know about him is that he is making a mandatory defense on April 8th on a DAZN undercard against former world title challenger Marlon Tapalis of the Philippines. I think MJ is going to win this one convincingly. I think he'll stop Tapalis in the middle to later rounds and retain the IBF and WBA titles and push forward towards what most are hoping is a potential undisputed title clash with the winner of Inoue and Fulton that's supposed to take place in May. So we'll see any information or anything like that. I don't think we'll know anything about what happens after the Tapalis fight, but MJ is on the schedule again April 8th on DAZN against Marlon Tapalis. 126 featherweight. Right now, the champion there is Luis Alberto Lopez. He just captured the belt back in December, beating Josh Warrington in the UK. Now, it looks like he could be returning to the UK for his first defense, and there's a good chance he's going to be fighting Michael Conlon. Pretty much that's been the rumor, since the beginning of the year, and it looks like it's going to happen. They already got a working date of May 27th that they're probably going to do. So it looks like Lopez and Conlon will be good to go by the next Champions Report. That fight should be locked in on the schedule and good to go for May 27th, and I'll probably be giving my prediction on who I think the winner is going to be in that fight. 130 super featherweight. Champion there is the undefeated Shavkat Rakhimov, and he is set to return Saturday, April 22nd on DAZN to make the first defense of his belt in a mandatory effort against former champion undefeated Joe Cordina. These guys were supposed to fight back in November. Cordina had to pull out with an injury. The IBF then stripped Cordina of the title, allowing the top two mandatory challengers, because they had two mandatories that were due, Rakhimov and Zelfa Barrett, to fight for it, and Rakhimov stopped Zelfa Barrett in the 9th round of a pretty good fight to capture the belt. So now Cordina, they guaranteed him a title shot, so April 22nd, Rakhimov and Cordina will lock horns again. My prediction on this one, I'm going with Rakhimov by a stoppage win over Cordina in the middle to later rounds, and he will retain his belt. I do think Cordina's a live underdog, but I'm going with Rakhimov in this one, and I think he'll hold on to the belt. So by the end of by the next Champions Report, we will have the result there and see what's going on. 135 lightweight. Champion there is the undisputed champion Devin Haney, and what we know there is that Haney and Vasily Lomachenko are locked into fight, but they just don't know the site yet. So the fight has yet to be finalized, but only because they're trying to decide on whether the fight takes place in the United States or if it's going to take place in the Middle East somewhere. That's what's being discussed right now, but it looks like we got a working date of May 20th on ESPN between Haney and Lomachenko. 140, the champion there is Subriel Matias, a newly crowned champion. He just knocked out, in February, he just knocked out Jeremias Ponce to capture the vacant title and is now, the new champ going forward. So I don't think we're going to know what he's doing by the next Champions Report, but there have been, he's already been shit-talking with Regis Prograis, and talking about a potential unification bout with him for the second half of the year. So we'll see what goes down with that, see if any news comes out by the end of April. 147, the champion there is the undefeated unified champ, Errol Spence Jr. We have no news on when Spence is going to defend the IBF title. The only news we've heard at the beginning of the year was that Spence is likely going to return in his next fight against Keith Thurman, and he's probably going to be fighting Thurman at 154. But he's probably going to hold on to his belt for the moment, as he is still, his main goal is to land an undisputed title showdown with Terrence Bud Crawford. That fight seems less and less likely that it's going to go down, but I think the two sides are trying to stay optimistic about it because they really want to make the fight happen. So we'll see what happens there. But as of now, it looks like that IBF title is going to be held up, and not be on the line anytime soon. So we'll see. 154-pound super welterweight. The champion there is the undisputed champ, Jermell Charlo. Charlo is set to defend his title on January 28th against, I'm drawing a blank, against Tim Tszyu, his WBO mandatory challenger, but he backed out due to a hand or wrist injury. And now Tim Tszyu is moving forward with an interim title fight against Tony Harrison. So that's pretty significant. That means the injury is going to keep Charlo out longer than a couple months to postpone the fight. But I do believe Charlo is likely going to fight the winner of Tszyu and Harrison. Now, what will the other governing bodies do? Like the IBF, will the IBF allow Charlo more time without making an IBF mandatory? I don't know. I don't think the IBF has a set mandatory, but Charlo, I have a feeling that he might start giving up belts if the other governing bodies start ordering him to make title defenses. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we know more by the next Champions Report, and we'll go from there. 160 middleweight. The title is currently vacant. Triple G was the champion coming into the year. He decided in February that he was going to vacate the IBF title instead of making a mandatory defense against undefeated Esquiva Falcao of Brazil. So now the IBF has ordered Falcao and Michael Zarafa from Australia to lock horns. But Bob Arum, that they talked for a minute, but Bob Arum has already requested that this fight go to purse bid. So sometime in March, this fight's going to go to a purse bid. I don't know if the fight would pop off before the end of April. I'm leaning towards the no. We're probably going to see this fight like sometime in May. But at least we know that Falcao and Zarafa from Australia are going to lock horns for the title at some point. 168 super middleweight champion there is the undisputed champ, Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, we know, is coming back on Saturday, May 6th on DAZN. And we know it's likely going to be against his WBO mandatory and current WBO interim champion, John Ryder of the United Kingdom. Canelo's going to fight in Mexico, and Ryder's likely going to go out there and fight him, but Ryder has not been 100% finalized as the opponent yet, even though everybody thinks it's going to be Ryder. So we'll keep you posted on that, but it looks like that's going to happen. But that fight should be getting announced anytime now. and by the next Champions Report, I will give my prediction on it for May 6th. What did I say? That was 168, 175, light heavyweight. Champion there is the undefeated unified champion, Arthur Beterbiev. Beterbiev is set to defend his title, he actually defended his title against WBO mandatory challenger Anthony Yard, and he was behind on the scorecards in a tough fight, but he was able to hurt Yard and wear him down and stop him in the 8th round and retain his 3 world titles. Now, as of right now, there's some light negotiating going on between Dimitri Bivol, the WBA champion, and Beterbiev for a potential undisputed title showdown for the month of May. For the month of June. But most people feel, myself included, that fight is not going to happen due to the fact that Canelo wants a return bout, a rematch with Dimitri Bivol, and Canelo's second fight almost always takes place in September. He likes to fight on those Mexican dates. And so, he's likely going to fight Bivol there, and Bivol would have to cut weight after a big fight in June and come right back and cut weight down to 168, because that's what people are predicting, that Dimitri Bivol is going to go down to 168 and challenge for Canelo's undisputed title there. So, right now it doesn't look likely that Beterbiev would defend against Bivol, even though there is a chance there. But I have heard rumors that that Beterbiev would potentially face his WBC mandatory Callum Smith, and I think there's an outside chance that he would next fight his IBF mandatory that's going to be decided in March between Jean Pascal and Michael Eifert. Personally, I think that's going to be Pascal. So if that's the case, in my opinion, it's likely going to be Beterbiev, and it's likely going to be Arthur Beterbiev and Callum Smith, I think, would be his next opponent sometime during the summer, or an outside chance at Pascal. And I still think it's an outside chance, but I would love to see Beterbiev and Bivol. So we just got to wait to see. Hopefully we know more news when we should by the next Champions Report. 200 pounds, cruiserweight. Champion there is the undefeated reigning champ, Jai Opetaia. Opetaia, what we know is that he is next supposed to fight in a mandatory defense against veteran Mateusz Masternak. Opetaia just asked the IBF for more time for a 60-day extension to make that fight happen due to shoulder injury. The IBF granted it, so he has until June 1st to work out details and make a fight with Masternak. So I do believe that Opetaia and Masternak are going to happen. I hope we hear something by the next Champions Report on when that fight could potentially take place, but it's not likely to happen until the summer. But I still hope we hear something on it before the next Champions Report. And finally, the heavyweight division. The champion there is the undefeated unified champ, Alexander Usyk. What we know is that Usyk is trying to work out a fight for the undisputed title against undefeated WBC champion Tyson Fury, but they were supposed to fight in the Middle East, and I guess that money is gone now. It's not going to take place in the Middle East, so the next most profitable place is the United Kingdom, where Fury is from. Well, Usyk wants a bigger piece of the pie if he's fighting in Fury's backyard, which I absolutely understand where he's coming from and why he wants to do that. So, but because of that, the talks have stalled between the two sides. And we do not know if this fight is still going to happen. As Fury, who has a date of April 29th scheduled for himself, there's been rumors of him talking about a potential fight with Andy Ruiz if the fight with Usyk doesn't get made. So we got to wait and see what happens. I really don't know. But obviously, if Fury's focused on April 29th, that by the next Champions Report, we might have a fight already done with by that point. Be that as it may, I think, we might have Fury fighting, but we won't have an IBF title fight. So I hope the two sides work it out, and by the next Champions Report, we either have this fight good to go, or it's happened already, and Fury's the new champ, or Usyk kept the belt, or we know that Usyk has his next fight good to go. So we'll see what happens. A lot going on in the IBF, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.